Hello and welcome into the Knicks-Verse live pregame show. My name is George, and if this is your first time here, please subscribe and hit the thumbs up button for me. If you like this video, actually, please smash that like button. And also, if later on you have any thoughts or whatever and you missed the live stream, drop your comments in the chat. In the comment section. My voice is still a little bit under the weather, but I'm feeling much better. Very hyped up about the Knicks right now, the 2023 Knicks. And some people are pushing back on it. They're saying, we really shouldn't be that excited about the way this team is playing right now. They're playing against teams that are shorthanded, missing their best players. Blah, blah, blah. We're stuck in the middle. We're drifting. We don't have a real identity. All those arguments, I get them. However, things have actually changed a bit. And I'm going to get into it. I'm going to show you stuff that might illuminate where these Knicks actually are and what being a mid-team actually means in terms of the Knicks. First, I want to shout out to the chat. Thank you guys for joining me so much. I see, hey, D-Nice, good to see you, brother. We serve 100 people. What's up, brother? Buzzer Beater, Connor Tulin, Jeff San Juan. All right, we got a great group here. Gabriel Fonseca, we got Jay. Awesome, yes. Obi, the news is Obi is situational. He's available for tonight, and I'm fine with him being situational. Ease him back in. Let him kind of get into the flow. Hopefully he'll see some minutes. And by Thibs saying he was situational, he's basically saying he's not going to get his guaranteed 10 minutes or whatever that he used to get, which is a dismal amount of minutes for someone of his scoring ability. And I'll say, the second unit has desperately missed his scoring ability, especially with RJ out as well. Because that's one of the wrinkles that Thibs threw in. Well, he'd been doing it for a little bit, but he really went heavy with it when Obi left with his injury. Thibs had RJ out there on the floor to help provide some scoring punch, some scoring creativity in that second unit, especially with IQ getting a lot of starters minutes now. So it's left that second unit a little bit paltry in terms of actual having a scoring ability. So Obi would be very welcomed in that unit. So we'll see how it goes, but it's good to see that he's back. I'm glad it didn't linger. He came back much earlier than I thought. It's January 4th. I think in the last stream I estimated maybe around January 20th. So this is really good. This is good news. Let's hope it's good news. But obviously what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take you guys through this thing. How good are these streaky Knicks? Are they really just a mid team, or are they better than a mid team? Gonna take you through that, some stats, some team stats. Then we're gonna look at the next 10 games. And we're going to look at, obviously, tonight's game is going to be part of the next 10 games. All right, well, let's get to this part here. So, yesterday, I tweeted this out. Knicks are tied for first in net rating in the last 15 games with the Brooklyn Nets, who are also streaking. So, New York basketball is owning the NBA at the moment with the Brooklyn Nets. And New York Knicks is the only team with 4 players in the top 15 led by Julius Randle. Top 15 of net rating. That's what I meant. Knicks also have the 8th highest net rating for the entire 2022-23 season. Does this still sound like a mid-team? Now that second little paragraph there, Knicks also have the 8th highest net rating for the entire 2022-23 season. I want you guys remember that. Remember that. Because it's interesting, I tweeted this out yesterday. And here, we'll go to this. So, this is the blow-up of that. There was 2 images down there. And today, Fred Katz from The Athletic dropped a whole article talking about these weird Knicks. And it's actually a great article. If you haven't read it, you definitely should read it. I'm going to take you through a bit of it. But as you can see here, the Knicks are right now, they are a plus 2.6 in net rating, just behind the Phoenix Suns, the Sixers, the Grizzlies, or just behind the Phoenix Suns, but then the Sixers and Grizzlies are a little bit higher up, 4.2 and 4.3. Then up there is the Pelicans and the Nets. They're all kind of in the middle. They're not in the middle, but they're in that from 4.5 to 4.2. Very little separates them. And then a little tier above are the Cleveland Cavaliers. And then a little tier above them, the Boston Celtics. Now, what's interesting here is 1, 2, 3. The top 3 teams are all in the East. And then we got, New Orleans, Memphis, West teams. Phoenix is the West team. And then the Knicks. So that rounds out the top 8. And look at 9 is Dallas Mavericks, who, they're kind of they're a very interesting team. And then the Denver Nuggets, who, in some people's opinion, might end up being the favorite to come out of the West this year. And by some people, I mean me. It might be me. I've always been a big Nuggets fan. I was bummed when Murray got hurt because it set them back almost 2 seasons. But now they're back, and they're back with a tremendous vengeance. Oh, I forgot to add something here, but I can do it later. So pay attention to this stuff, because I'm going to take you through some things here. So the next part of that tweet was showing the actual players. So look at this. Actually, I should have said Knicks are the only team with 4 players in the top 12 of the last 15 games in terms of net rating. Randall's 3rd, 11.8. Quickly is 7th, 10.7. Barrett is 9th, a 9.9. And look at Jalen Brunson there, 9.2. So, I mean, that whole starting unit plus Emmanuel Quickly has been outstanding. Outstanding. Now we're going to go to the Fred Katz article. So you can see here, first I want to just check the chat. How's it going? All right, good to see you guys. Just don't want to miss anything major. I just want to get through this stuff because I found it really interesting, and it might shake this notion that the Knicks were just stuck on a treadmill. So Fred Katz tweet, he wrote this article, he dropped this article this morning. Who are the Knicks? How good or bad can they be in their final 44 games? Heading into Wednesday's action, only 5 teams occupied the top 11 in both offense and defense. The Boston Celtics, who own the best record in the NBA, the Brooklyn Nets, who have the second best, the Cleveland Cavaliers, who match elite scoring guards with physical paint presences, the New Orleans Pelicans, who are 1 game out of first in the Western Conference, and those pesky Knicks, who are vying for home court advantage in the play-in tournament. So the other 4 are all in the thick of they're contenders. The other 4 are contenders. And then there's us, the Knicks. Interesting. And if you've been following this channel for a while, I put out a video, actually 2 years in a row, talking about the path to a championship, building a long-term championship. And one of the things it was talking about the players and what kind of players you need to have. But one of the elements in there was talking about the offense and defensive rating and the net rating. And if you are in the top 10 of those, you are most likely going to be a contending team. What's interesting is what Fred did, he looked at it even closer, and he calls it may look like gerrymandering, but it's not. I'll read it to you. Until last season, finishing inside the top 11 in both offensive and defensive efficiency, points scored allowed per possession, may as well have been a prerequisite for winning a title. Okay, let's keep going. That cutoff sounds gerrymandered, what contrarian thinks in a base 11 system, but it's not. There's something about getting into the top 11 on both sides of that vaults a team to a contender status. Remember, we're taking top 11 in both offensive rating and defensive efficiency and defensive efficiency. When the 2021-22 Golden State Warriors, whose offense was run-of-the-mill during the regular season, it's last season, but remember, Clay was coming back. Steph, he was still also kind of coming back. The team, actually, I think even Draymond Green was still coming back. So the team wasn't its whole self until later on in the season and then in the playoffs. And they won it all. They snapped the streak of 17 consecutive champs who infiltrated the top 11 of both offense and defensive efficiency. 17 straight years. A team that won it all were in the top 11 on both sides. And mind you, we're not just talking about the winner, talking about whoever is the non-conference champion or the final 4 teams. They're all in the top 11. The final 8 teams, they're all in the top 11. So we're talking about contending teams here. I want to revise that to not just be champs, but contending teams. During that nearly 2-decade stretch, 4 title teams had an offense or defense that finished exactly 11th in the NBA. But no eventual champ sunk to 12th. All right, so that is some wild, wild shit. Now, before I go and show you these stats, let me just take a break here for a second. Shout out to the chat. Paul Butler, good to see you. Forget about those stats, George. The Knicks are 20-18. Just wait. Just wait, because actually Fred, in that article, he says, yes, however, DeRozan misses that shot. Luka can't get that rebound, and we don't blow that tremendous lead. That's 3 games, and the Knicks are now 25-15. Or 23-15. That's a big difference. So just bear that in mind. Here we go. So these are the current offensive and defensive and net ratings for the season at the moment. You can see the top 8. This is a big wide shot of what I showed you earlier. The Celtics, Nuggets, Brooklyn, Utah. Utah's the one kind of out there here, but they don't make it in the defensive rating. Phoenix Suns, Dallas Mavericks. All right, now we go to defensive rating. Cleveland Cavaliers. Everyone says there's no doubt they're a contending team, especially with the top defense with the Mobley and Jared Allen locking that down. Memphis Grizzlies, also tremendous defensive team. They got Dylan Brooks on there, and I just love their setup, the way they're set up. But look at the Knicks, 7th here in defensive rating and 11th in offensive rating. When you go to net rating, the Knicks are 8th. All right, now let's go back. Let's go back in time. Last season, okay, the offensive rating, let's look for, remember, they said that the Golden State Warriors were the one time that the team didn't finish in the top 11. The one time. But the team that they faced in the playoffs, the Boston Celtics, they finished 9th. Then defensive rating, Golden State Warriors finished 2nd, and Boston Celtics finished 1st. That's there. And then look in the net rating. Same thing. Phoenix Suns 1st, and the Golden State Warriors finished 4th. And remember, the Golden State Warriors offense kicked into gear in that last few months or so. The last 2 months. Now, back further. This is 2020 and 2021. That finals, that was 2020-21 was Milwaukee and Phoenix. So here, and look, and Brooklyn Nets had the best offense in that season. All right, so here, Milwaukee, number 9 in defensive rating. And where's Phoenix? Phoenix, number 6 in defensive rating. Offensive rating, Phoenix was 7th. And Milwaukee was 5th. So there you go. It's holding all true here. And the net rating as well. Now let's keep going back another season. 2019 and 2020. That was that weird year that ended up in the bubble with the Lakers. Look at the Lakers. 11th in offensive rating. They ended up winning it. But they were 3rd in defensive rating. And who did they play? The Miami Heat. The Miami Heat were 12th. 12th in defensive rating that season. But in offensive rating, they were 7th. For a net rating of 7th. So the 7th net rating team battled the number 1 net rating team in the finals that season. So these stats, now there's enough of it behind us to look at. This indicates that the New York Knicks, and the reason I'm bringing this up is because it's going to matter what happens on the trade deadline. What kind of trades does this team make if they don't understand what kind of team they actually are? So this is why things have changed. The streaks, the 3 streaks, and we're on the 3rd one right now. The 8-game winning streak, the 5-game losing streak, and now we're on a 2-game winning streak, which is probably tonight. I think tonight's going to be a totally different result than we had the last time we faced San Antonio. So we're going to end up with a 3rd-game winning streak going into Friday's game. And I'm loving the chances of the Knicks for the next 10 games. We actually have a pretty light schedule. So this is something serious to look at here because, I mean, what kind of pieces will the Knicks need to add to solidify their playoff run? This is the world that we're in now. This is the world that Leon and Thibs wanted. They wanted this team, and I'm sure Dolan wants it as well. A team that's competing for a playoff spot. At least the 6th seed is what they're looking for. Of course, they'll take the play-in, and then they win a couple games and get into the actual playoffs. But they want to be a guaranteed playoff team, which that means 6th seed or better. So they're going to most likely add pieces to help that goal. So in 2020, let's go back. Oh yeah, I even got 2018 in here. In 2018, it was the Golden State Warriors against the Toronto Raptors. And in this offensive rating, Warriors were 1st, Raptors were 5th. In defensive rating, Warriors were 11th and Raptors were 5th. In net rating, Warriors were 2nd and Raptors were 3rd. So that shows you. Those are the quality teams. And look at the Bucks. The Bucks were right there. You can see they were coming, and that's why they wanted the next season. Remember, they kept getting closer and closer. All right. Now, we're going to take a moment here. Go step back. All right. So we got tonight the San Antonio Spurs. And this team, this team has no business beating us. They had no business beating us last time. And I'm like almost 100% certain that it was mostly due to a hangover from the traumatizing Dallas Mavericks loss. You know, the overtime loss where Luka just went crazy. And then, you know, we heard that Julius was so mad he was breaking chairs in the locker room and in the hallway and stuff, which is great passion. I definitely love that. And I think that type of loss kind of shook them a little, and they went into that San Antonio game not in the right headspace. And we had no business losing to that team. They were missing Devin Vassell, their best player. You know, and I think their number 2 scorer or number 1 scorer. So, yeah, I get it. I get we were missing Brunson and RJ, but that's no excuse. We are a much better team than the San Antonio Spurs and our depth should be able to survive that, as we saw what happened with the Houston Rockets. Okay? So, tonight, I expect we're going to see a very different result. And it's going to be, San Antonio's coming into town. That game looks like a win to me. Then we faced Toronto in Toronto. Now, last time we played them was the 2nd game of a back-to-back. And, you know, we were right there. We could have won that game. We let it slip away. There's a good chance that we can go to Toronto. Now we got Brunson back, who's healthy. And Obi, who knows? Maybe by then Obi will be able to play a few extra minutes. We'll have a deeper squad. If we can pull that win out, it would be tremendous, but I'm not guaranteed that one. I'll even put that as a loss. Just for argument's sake. I'll put it as a loss. So now we're 1-1. Then we got Milwaukee. The Milwaukee in the Garden. The Knicks tend to play them tough. I think is one of the best games the Knicks had played up until recently. I mean, the way the Knicks played the other night was just outstanding, man. They completely destroyed the Phoenix Suns in that first half. In that 21-0 run, they held them to 11 points in the first quarter. I mean, and that's a team that was shooting like 38% from the three-point line for the 4 or 5 games leading into that game. You know, they were hot, but the Knicks cooled them off. The Knicks defense is in a whole other tier at the moment. So I think that's going to be a battle. But I will say this. I think that the Knicks have a pretty good chance of winning that Milwaukee game. We play them tough. We match up with them well. We have a pretty decent chance. But just to play argument's sake, we lose that game. So now we're 1-2. We got Indiana. We are going to Indiana at MSG. We're going to own them. I have no doubt about that one. So that's 2-2. We got the Wizards in Washington. We match up very well against them as well. I like this. I like our matchup against them. So 3-2. Detroit. Then we're 4-2. Then we got Toronto again. In Toronto. In at the Garden. So now I think we get revenge right there. So that's 5-2. Now we got Washington at the Garden. Beating a team twice in a row is tough. So let's say we don't pull this off. So it's 5-3. Then we got Atlanta. Atlanta has no chance against the way these Knicks are playing right now. No chance. That's 6-2. Then we got Toronto a third time. That is crazy, a third time. And then by then, I mean, how often can Pascal Siakam go off and have a career night? I mean, against these Knicks, you never know. But the way they're playing defense now, I just don't see it. I see the Knicks finishing 7-3 through this stretch. 7-3. That means the Knicks will be 27-21 by the end of January 22nd. That's what I'm predicting. 27-21, that should be good enough for contending for the 6th seed. And that puts us only about 3 weeks away from the trade deadline at that point. Maybe even just, about 2.5 weeks away. I think Knicks are going to make a move. Question for you guys is, what do the Knicks need to add to solidify the playoff run? I'm going to put a poll up, and I want to hear what you guys have to say. Yeah. Do Knicks need to add before trade deadline? Okay. A guard. SG. Small forward. Big wing. Big wing. All right. There we go. Because I don't think we need to add point guard. That's at this point. I don't think we need to add that. Let's go to here's tail of the tape. As you can see, I think Vassell is back for this game. I haven't gotten the confirmation on that yet. If anyone's gotten the info on, here. Thank you so much. We surveyed. The Spurs are starting Trey Jones, Romeo Langford, Keldon Johnson, Jeremy Sohan, and Jakob Poeltl. So I don't think Vassell's back. So that makes it even a little easier for the Knicks. A little, yeah. Vassell is out again. Awesome. This is a great revenge game. Buzzer Beater, thanks so much, brother, for the super chat contribution. In the chat he put out, every NBA MVP is a Hall of Famer. Will D Rose be a Hall of Famer? Absolutely, 100%. D Rose will be a Hall of Famer. There's no doubt. You can't leave off the youngest Hall of Famer, the youngest MVP winner in the history of the game. You can't. You can't. And he, if I had a vote, I would vote him as a Hall of Famer. That would be my opinion, for sure. He's one of my favorite players, no doubt. Let's see. Wallace says the Knicks don't need to necessarily add anything right now unless is a tall, long wing that can shoot and defend. All right. Well, that's what I put in there. I bet the big wing is kind of what I meant by a tall, long wing. All right. And that's getting the most votes at the moment. So, okay, good. I'm glad we have a pretty decent consensus considering there's three options there. Hey, Lex Destroyer, good to see you, brother. Shout out to you, man. Let's see. I'm looking back in the chat. If I've missed anything, Stanley, man, good to see you. The problem is our inability to close games. We have lost 3 to 5 games due to offense or defensive breakdowns in the last 2 minutes of games. Yep. Now that is something that teams can get better at as they go along in the season. So that's something to keep an eye on. If they can close out tight games. Actually, I think I even talked about that in the previous post game. I worry when the score is in single digits and we're going into the last 5 minutes of the game. I worry with this team because you're right. We have not been able to get the stops when we need them. Though of late we're doing better at that, but we just not have been able to do that. And partly it's because of the way the team is constructed. Mitch is not a big offensive threat, so he's out there for defense. But then, when you're training bucket for bucket, then Thibs seems to sub him out. So it's trying to figure out the winning formula for that. But that's one of the things that Brunson is supposed to give us. He's supposed to give us that clutch result. There were definitely times where he missed against the Sixers. He missed the ability to, I think it was to win that game. I think we could have won that game or send it to overtime. So he missed that clutch shot. So we definitely need, but he has been very clutch. Just to be clear about that. Still Dre says Knicks are a really good team with bad habit of playing mid basketball. Yep, they fall into that. So that's why if you bring in a big wing, who's an interesting wing? You guys can drop some names in there, because it's definitely looking like right now 62% of us believe that a big wing would be what we would need. So drop some names down there for me, and then I'll do some research on it. Let's see. Eric Gordon is not a right fit for this right now. Maybe if Brunson was going to be gone for an extended period, maybe I could see bringing in Eric Gordon. He might be worth it for just the final months of the season. Where IQ could be the point guard, but you also need someone from that second unit to come in, and Eric Gordon can give you that, and he'll give you some points too. The guy's built like a tank. G.G. Jackson from South Carolina in the draft. That'd be good. I'm talking about a trade. I'm talking about right now for us making a trade. That's what I'm talking about. But that's I'll keep an eye out on him. I actually do like him. I do like him a lot. Let's see. Thanks for that tip there. Salute Kareem Grant. Good to see you, brother. JJ says we're combining win now with a rebuild, which is why we're mid. That's why. But see, something is starting to click here. Randall is back to his All-NBA version of himself, and in my opinion, even better. As you heard on the broadcasts, I think it's Mike Breen or Wally pointing out that not only is Julius looking for his teammates now when he gets doubled, looking for them much quicker, he's also delivering the pass right in their pocket, the shooter's pocket. Because I don't know if you remember, that was a big beef of mine with him. He'd find the guy, but he'd throw the ball down. The guy had to reach down or like this. And then by the time the guy adjusts, the defender's already closing out on him, and so that it's not such a clean look. But now he's delivering the bullet passes right in the sweet spot of the shooter. He was doing it for Grimes. He was doing it for RJ before he got hurt. That's one thing. It's a major change. Same for RJ. RJ's also gotten better at delivering those passes to the open guy. So that's a big difference with this team. It just took a while for this to kind of get going, but it all comes down to the defense. It is all about the defense with this team. It's really insane. And if I can get this piece of video up here, I need to get it because I got it. I had it all prepared, and then here we go. All right. You guys keep going in the chat there for me. All right. Dun, dun, dun. And then let me see if I can pop this up here. That'd be awesome. Is there any good names? Crowder. Ooh. Crowder would be good. Crowder would cost. That's the one thing. Crowder would cost. But that's a really interesting one. I want to think about that. Yeah. I'm liking that even more now. Now that we've breaking this whole thing down, I'm liking that even more. Wow. Good one. Who put Crowder in there? Trini 2D. Nice one. All right. Let's see if this works. No. All right. I messed up on that. I wish I had done this a little better before. Not showing up. All right. Well, maybe when it shows up, hopefully it's processing it. It'll be able to work. So we have about 33 votes in, and it's pretty. A lot of people say small forward, 27%, but 61% feel a big wing. I tend to agree with that. I am going to make a screenshot of that. Awesome. All right, let's see some other names. We got Tobias. Yeah, but he would cost a little too much. He would cost a little too much, and he might disrupt. We're talking about somebody, remember, to add him to this team, not to disrupt it. You know, so it has to be somebody who provides, a defensive impact, which Crowder does, and can shoot the three, and can cover multiple positions. A three, could cover a three, cover a four. Occasionally could even defend a small five if needed. To give us some flexibility. Kuzma would be good, but also would cost a lot. Vassell. He'd be nice. He would be nice. I just don't see the Spurs trading him. He's on a good deal. He's young. I just don't see them trading him at the moment. Let's see here. Why isn't this working? It's a bummer. Maybe it'll work now. Oh well. I'm going to abandon that hope. Oh wait.
Up top to Allen.
Oh.
Allen fires a three. Oh, it's good. Allen from downtown. Now we're back to a 3-point lead for Milwaukee.
That. Oh, I see what happened there. Okay, here. This is what I want to show you guys. So here, this is from 538 Raptor. This is to show you the impact. It's going to loop around. Sorry about that. Let me get back to this here. All right. Okay, we're going to go back to this. Here we go. All right. So, Mitch is the number 2 on-off player in the NBA behind Nikola Jokic. Emmanuel Quickley is the number 1 defensive on-off player in the NBA. And Grimes is 8th. And Mitch is 4th. Look at the other names on there. Dylan Brooks, Jose Alvarado, Batum, Jaren Jackson, Benedict Mathurin. But see the type of defensive company that this is for the whole season. This is not just during the winning streak. This is the entire season. And then when it comes to WAR, as you can see, we don't have anybody in the top there in WAR. And then when it comes to box office defensive Raptor, here it'll cycle back over to there. Yeah, look at it. Look at Mitch, number 2. Outstanding. And then right there, Quickly number 1, Mitch 4th, Grimes 8th. That is big. That's what gives me hope. That's teams that play that type of defense are not mid-tier teams eventually. Especially when it gets into the playoffs. They can be very, very, very difficult teams to deal with. And the irony is, the New York Knicks have actually been a better offensive team for most of the season than they've been a defensive team. Now they're both starting to even out, which is why we're seeing these kind of results right here, where the Knicks are now 8th in net rating. So I am starting to feel confident that the 47 wins that I predicted at the beginning of this season are very much possible. Right now, actually, when you look on basketballreference.com, they say right there, they're on target to win. They project 47.1 games or something like that. So 47 is their win projection. Terry Eason, he would have been great. That's another reason why I wanted to draft him. It's tough to get those young guys though from these teams that are they're trying to tank. So it's hard to get because what can you offer them other than, I guess you can offer them picks. Be definitely something worth to look into. All right, man. Well, please hit that thumbs up button for me, and subscribe if you haven't yet. If this is your first time here, we love the support. And drop your comments if you think of any other names later on, because I'm going to be compiling some kind of a wish list, a trade wish list for this team. And believe me, at this point, it looks like Obi will eventually be traded. It's just looking like that. He might be our most attractive piece to move to bring in that big wing, which is ironic because he could actually be that kind of guy. So it's difficult, but the thing is, it's a matter of his contract that's coming up. But we can still hold on to him. Technically, we could, but I can see that the front office is definitely looking to move to find a new home for him. Plus, he needs it. He deserves to have more minutes. He deserves it. He really does. Crowder wants to start badly. Interesting. So that would be difficult for him here then. Nobody gonna sign Miles Bridges until his legal matters are taken care of. That's true. That's true. Just looking over the Giselle Cash says, if it's a wing, try for DeRozan or Caruso. And we have draft picks. They have none. We have youth. I would go with DeRozan more than Caruso. Okay. These are some good ideas. Yeah, really appreciate it. All right, guys. Well, thanks so much for watching this. I'll be doing the post-game show after the Knicks destroy the San Antonio Spurs. Let's hope. I mean, you never know what's going to happen. This team's a roller coaster. I call them the streaky Knicks. We're now on our third streak. Let's see if they can continue it. But I took you through the schedule. You can see that the Knicks, it's possible for the Knicks to win 7 out of their next 10 games, including tonight's game, and which would really put them in a really nice position. It would put them at 27 and 21 by the end of January 22nd. I'm hoping for that, and it would show us that the team is continuing to evolve in the correct direction. So let's hope that happens. And once again, hit that thumbs up button for me. My name is George. Thank you for tuning in, and I will see you around the Knicks-Verse.